Friends, I am at Navamuni Gumpha in Khandagiri cave. You can see here, of course it is quite high from here, I'll have to take a closer view for that. But there are three sculptures of Parshvanatha, Swami Parshvanatha, who was a Tirthankara in Jainism. And you can see he is associated with seven-hooded snake. So there's a beautiful story of his association with snake. Long ago, he was not born as Parshvanatha by that time. In his previous birth to Parshvanatha, he had born in a kingdom and his name was Marubhuti. His brother, he had a brother called Kamath. So Marubhuti was the prime minister of the kingdom. He was serving as the prime minister to his king in his kingdom. And he was very compassionate, down to earth, spiritually inclined, believers of non-violence. But his brother was opposite. He was rude, he was, he had a crooked mind and he had a destructive mind. He always wanted to, ruin the reputation of his brother Marubhuti. So one day what had happened, Marubhuti had gone with his king, because he was the prime minister, he had gone with his king to another country in a war. So taking the chance of his absence, what his brother did, he grabbed the kingdom to rule and also he raped his brother's wife. So when both of them came back, they saw all wrong deeds, all the wrong act by his brother Kamath. So he was punished. So he was banished to a forest. And Kamath had not changed his mind. He had not changed his heart. So he started doing false penance in the hermit. One day what happened, when Marubhuti was passing by, he saw his brother doing penance, though he did not know that it was a false penance. So he started thinking that, realizing that his brother probably had changed his mind. He has become a better person. So when he approached him, his brother Kamath, who was doing false penance, started throwing stones at him, at his head, at his brother's head. Marubhuti died. Again, after many years, he was reborn, and he became both of them again. They were though not brothers, but they were reborn again, and Marubhuti had become Parshvanatha, by that time, and Kamath was still, in his next life also he had the same character. So one day what happened, he was passing by again to the hermit where he saw Kamath doing false penance in a hermit. But at that time there were also, the Kamath was burning logs and wood, and the fireplace was surrounded by a cluster of stones, so that nobody would be able to reach there, nobody would be able to arrive at that particular point. So there was a pair of snakes. So they were also in the log, and they were getting burnt due to the fire. And when they saw Parshvanatha, they approached him for their rescue. Parshvanatha's heart filled with compassion. He felt so much for them. He went and asked them to chant Namakara mantra. Both did. In the snake pair, the Naga pair did, but they could not be saved. They died. So his heart filled again with grief because he could not save, Parshvanatha could not save the snake couples. Again, after few years, when he was passing again by the hermit, he saw Kamath doing again false penance, and when he saw Parshvanath coming to him, so he started throwing stones. This time Parshvanatha also was helpless, but the snakes to whom he could not save, the pair of snakes to whom he could not save last time, they had reborn as Dharmendra and Padmavati. So both came to help him, to protect him. So Dharmendra became the shade, and Padmavati came up with she raised her 7 hoods, and that is how Parshvanatha was protected from the attack by his brother Kamath, though he was not brother this time, Kamath. And you always find depiction of Parshvanatha with snake hoods here at Khandagiri cave, and these were excavated these were carved out from live sandstone rocks in the 8th-9th century CE during the rule of the Somavansis. Friends, I am Jitu Mishra, a co-founder of Sarana Education and Cultural Services. I am at Ananta Gumpha in Khandagiri Caves in Bhubaneswar city, and this is supposed to be one of the earliest caves in the whole of Indian subcontinent, going back to the time of Emperor Kharavara in 2nd, 1st century BC. This cave is not probably significant architecturally, but why it has drawn my attention is that depiction of 7-hooded snake which you can see here, and all of you know about this locality. It is part of Chandaka sanctuary, and Chandaka is full of snakes, elephants and other creatures, and there would be a lot of people dying out of snake bites in the times of the year. Even when I was a child, I would keep hearing about people dying out of snake bites in this part of Bhubaneswar city. Of course, that time Chandaka was densely forested, which is not now. Friends, all of you know about Jainism, where snake is widely revered as one of the deities of the underworld. In Jain cosmology, the underworld, especially in the underwater, is there are a lot of gems, the gold and gems, and it is filled with abundance of natural resources. And Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Bijadharas and Nagas. So they are supposed to be the guardians of this incredible treasure that our underworld has. That is what is according to the Jain beliefs. So that is why you have the depiction of these 7-hooded snakes. And the Jain monks and nuns who would live here, they were part of this animal world as well. So they had established a very symbiotic relationship with the animals around them. So depiction of snake worship is very ancient in Odisha, going back to the time of Emperor Ashoka, or even prior to that, Emperor Ashoka and also Emperor Kharavara, even prior to that. And here you have one of the oldest depictions. Friends, this is yet another jewel of Naga sculpture in the Ekambra Chitra. I am at Swarnajariswar temple, and this is supposed to be one of the oldest intact temples in Bhubaneswar after Parsurameswar. Look at this sculpture. So here I would like to say something about early Bhubaneswar. So during 2nd, 1st century BC, at the time of Emperor Kharavada, in the folk culture of Bhubaneswar, snake worship was very prominent, very prevalent. So you have lot of sculptures of Naga and Naguni going back to 2nd, 1st century BC, which were discovered in Bhubaneswar region, and most of them are now displayed in the Orissa State Museum. So they are of course not artistic jewels, but what fascinates us is that how snake cult had become so popular in Bhubaneswar in early centuries of Christian era, even before that, and this was mainly because Bhubaneswar was densely forested and snake bite was very common. So there was a fear. Out of the fear psychosis, snake cult had evolved as a major popular cult in the holy region, holy Chitra of Ekambra. That time it was not holy Ekambra Chitra, but in the region of Bhubaneswar. Friends, it's a beautiful water body in the holy land of Ekambra. This is called Guajara, and snake is a creature all of you know associated with water. So in our ancient beliefs, when in the days of the year, when the women folk as well as the men folk, they would go inside the water to do their daily chores, either bathing or washing clothes or any other activities associated with water. So many of them would be bitten by snakes, and many of them would also die. So that is why you will find always the cult of snake that goes back to the time of even prehistory revolved around the water bodies. So he is shown always, the snake god is always shown portrayed with holding jewels and the kamandulu, the pots, the sacred pots filled with treasures. So this is such a beautiful water body, and such kind of water bodies are profusely found in the Ekambra Chitra. Friends, on both sides of me you have two spectacular images of Naga and Naguni. Look at this, such a beautiful sculpture. She is a Naguni, and here it's the same. Here also you have a beautiful sculpture of Naga, and both are adorned with jewels. The Naguni has 5 hoods. The Naga has also 5 hoods, and they are also holding precious jewels in their hands. So Naguni and Naga are profusely found in the temples of Bhubaneswar, starting from Mukteshwar, and as you move later, to the later temples, you find at Lingaraj, you find at Rajarani, you find at Bhaskareshwar, not Bhaskareshwar, Megheshwar. So in every Hindu temple, Sukasari, so every temples you have beautiful depictions of Naga and Naguni. So Naga and Nagunis are supposed to be the, they are the guardians of the underworld treasures. So all of you know the Patala. According to the Hindu beliefs, Patala is full of treasures of various precious stones, semi-precious stones, gems, gold, diamond, everything. So Naga and Naguni, they are residents of Patala, and they are the guardians of the treasures the earth possesses, the Patala possesses, and that is why they are among the richest gods and goddesses in the Hindu beliefs. And you would also see that how they are beautifully adorned with jewelries, and they are also holding some jewels in their hands. So this is one of the most incredible images of Naga and Naguni here in Bhubaneswar. Friends, look at this. This is an image of Naga. This is an image of Naguni. This is yet another pair of Naga and Naguni here in Mukteshwar temple. And as you see, the Naga and Naguni both are profusely adorned with jewels. Friends, you have a beautiful sculpture of Nataraja, Natesha, in Parashurameshwar temple, a 7th century jewel in the holy Kshetra of Ekamra. So Nataraja or Natesha is widely depicted in the temples of Bhubaneswar, right from Parashurameshwar, and then you have at Mukteshwar, you have at Rajarani, Brahmeshwar, Lingaraj. Everywhere you have beautiful sculptures of Nataraja or Natesha. So you can see a depiction of a Naga to his left. So Nataraja is always associated with Naga or snake, the cobra snake. So friends, all of you know about two important snakes in Hindu religions. One is Vasuki, the other one is Shesha. So Vasuki is associated with Lord Shiva, Nataraja. Shesha is associated with Lord Vishnu. So in the time of the Vedic period, Shiva, Nataraja was known as Rudra. He was the god of death. So he was a divine archer, and if somebody does sin, he would send, the death, signals of death and diseases through the practice of archery. So that is what Rudra was known for. And Vasuki, was always the protector of human beings from death and diseases, and he was always found associated with Rudra. So Vasuki, all of you know, is also known as Nagamani. So you would find a beautiful jewel at his forehead, and he would actually make 3 rounds of coils around the neck of Lord Shiva. So these 3 rounds of coiling represent past, present and future. So that's all about Vasuki. Shesha, is another, he is known as the king among all cobras, and he is associated with Lord Vishnu. So during the time of Samudra Manthan, when Mount Meru was used for churning of Amrita, so that time Basuki was used as a rope. On one side you have the demons, the Rakshasas, and the other sides you have the Devatas, the gods. And somehow you all know about that how the gods had an upper hand, and they could they could access releasing Amrita, and that is how they are Amara. They are never going to die. And Rakshasas, they could not. They had to satisfy themselves with Visha, so the poisons. So this is how the belief system is there in Hinduism, both Basuki as well as Shesha. Friends, I am at Megheshwar temple. This is a later temple built somewhere around 12th 13th century, and this is a Navaratha temple. So why I am here is not because of its architectural aspects, but because of the two serpentine deities, the Naguni and the Naga, which are found at the door jamb of the entrance. So all of you know about the temples, Hindu temples, especially Shiva temples, which are not only for the devotion, but these are also storehouses of wealth. So Naga and Naguni you find in the later temples of Bhubaneswar guarding the temple's wealth. So they are, that's why they are shown, they are depicted at the entrance of the temple. So these two images are supposed to be one among the finest in Odisha, among the Hindu temples, where you have the beautiful depiction of Naguni and Naga. So this is all about the stories of Naga and Naguni in the temples, in the heritage of Bhubaneswar, starting from 1st century BC till the late medieval period. I hope you like the presentations. Thank you so much for being with us.